okay. And then Dracula screamed and said, "Oh no, Doctor Who, you've set your sonic screwdriver to emit sunlight." And Doctor Who said, "Ha, yeah, take that, you git." "Ah, yeah, that's great." Okay, and oh, hi there, Tresh here. You caught me in the middle of writing another amazing script. You know what, speaking about things that emit light, have you ever wondered how they make a hologram emitter for something like, I don't know, a Star Wars or a Space Trek? What about you, Iris? Have you ever wondered about that? Come here then. 1, 2, 3, up a daisy. Yes! Hello, Iris. Yes, okay, come on, calm down. Calm down now. Calm down, Iris. Now, these nice people have come to the workshop to talk to us about the things that we'll be making. Okay, you're going to calm down? Calm down. Okay, so in this video then, we'll show you how we made a hologram emitter for a film called TIMEFORT. Now, TIMEFORT was one film, but it got split over 3 parts for the YouTube. And in that we needed a hologram emitter, so I'll show you how we made the actual physical prop, and then the actual visual effects of the hologram as well, and how that ended up in the film. Yes, hey, no biting. Nice, play nice. Okay, calm down. Yeah. So, yeah, let's get on with the video, shall we? Oh, calm down, Iris. Episode 2. Project TIMEFORT short film series. Hologram Projector plus visual effects. So first of all, I went to my bits box and I got this little thing out. I got this when we moved into the new house, found it in the garden. I think it was part of some kind of sensor for an outdoor light or something. As you can see though, the outer rim pops off, which makes it handy so I can paint the 2 different colours without having to mask off everything. And yeah, so I think that was a light sensor or something, I'm not quite sure. But for the middle part, I'm going to use a simple, that little bit is a cap, I believe, for a screw when you're doing furniture thing. So you pop the cap over the end so you can't see, and then we've got the bottle top. But I only want the edge of the bottle top, I don't want the full thing, because it's just to make a little circle in the middle of the square. So first of all, I'll go and get some cheap metallic spray paint. It's really cheap. Like, I can't tell you how cheap that is. It's like the cheapest stuff I could find in the cheap shop. So cheapest shop, cheapest stuff. So yeah, they'll go chopping off the end of the bottle top, as I said before, because we just want that little rim just to make a little raised area inside the square. Then the same with a little cap, and oh, don't you just hate it when that happens? So same with the little cap, chop it off. Quickly realise it didn't work in the vise though, so use my fingers, try not to cut myself. And then just getting the position right. Does it look okay? I thought so, so go ahead with the sanding it down. Sanding it down to get rid of any little bits, make it nice and smooth so the super glue will actually hold it. Sand down all the areas, not just one bit, get it all done. So, time for the super glue. So you glue it all into place, and no, try and get it into place, and yeah, so we want the circle in the square, then the circle. So after we've got a circle in the other circle, the bigger circle. So, circle, in a square, in a circle, and then we've got the outer rim, which is another circle. Circle, circle, square, circle, circle. Okay, that all looks good. Get a little bit of the activator. So, this I got from an old DIY project, actually, it was just left over. And yeah, so you just spray that on, it works on the super glue just as well as it does the glue that it's actually supposed to use for. There we go, just sprayed that with the silver. So as you can see, there's the outer rim, which was sprayed with the gold, and then we've got the inner side, which is sprayed with the silver, a bit more of the activator on there. And yeah, wipe off the residue. Okay, so now I want to mask off the middle, because the middle part I'm going to keep the metallic colour, and then it's the outer areas which I'm going to be painting different colours. So first off, I'm wanting to mask off a pattern. That will become clear why later, but I'm putting on these lines because I want it to be like a kind of like a circuit. So that was my initial plan anyway. It ended up looking more like a kind of a camouflage kind of pattern. You'll see, it's sort of like a sci-fi camouflage, but the initial plan was to make it look like it's some kind of circuit that you could see on top of the thing. So there you can see I'm just going around the outside as well because I wanted to have the golden rim. And yeah, so just masking off. You can do any pattern you want. It really is great fun, just slapping it down wherever. And then we get a little bit of liquid masking. So this is just a little modelling tool. Use the metal end so I can get a nice fine point on there. And just start putting down some little blobs here and there. So making nice little circular patterns, and then I can go around putting blobs on the end of those little circuits. And you can see a bit dropped off there, but that's fine, it doesn't matter. So give it a good clean. Then yeah, dry it off. And then we can add a little bit more. That is never enough, never too much. And then use just a little bit of black primer. Okay, and then of course you need to dry that off. And now we've got the black primer, So underneath that will be the metallics showing through. So we've got the metallics showing through, then the black primer. So we're going to mask off some of this black primer, so then that will show through the red top coat. So the red top coat, we then got masked with a black primer, and so on and so forth underneath. So here I am with my little tub of paint, and I'm looking for my wash, and I go for Agrax Earth Shade. No idea if Citadel's still making this one. I'm really out of touch with Citadel at this point, but yeah, just to water it down a little bit, and I'm going to slap that all over because I want the entire thing to look just really grubby, bring out the details by deepening the shadows. So yeah, I want it to look really grubby, so let's just go around the whole thing, slap it on, just keep it watered down ever so slightly. And yeah, I want to make sure that it's all covered, just avoiding the bit in the middle because it's pointless doing where you've masked. Okay, dry that off, and is that looking good? I think so, so let's peel that off. Very therapeutic peeling that off. I have to do it in fast forward though, otherwise it'll be here for like half an hour. And as you can see, the other colours coming through, so there you can see we've got the red top coat, then they've got black undercoat, and then we've got the metallic shining through from underneath. So peel it off, it doesn't matter if it goes over because you know, it is meant to look rough, and I'm going to be putting another wash on again to grubby that up. Oh, there we go. So this one I'm putting on and yeah, just putting a lot thicker because I want to really get in there to really deepen the shadows on that ring in particular in the middle. And yeah, as you can see, just slap it on all over. Make sure you get really good coverage. You want it to be nice and even, you don't want it to be you know, patchy. And once that's done, yeah, that's all good. Get the hairdryer back out. Again, very therapeutic watching this in fast forward drying. Okay, and then we want just a little bit of silver. Oh, this is my favourite brush, the Revel R20. As you can see, it got snapped in the middle there. I've had this one for absolutely years, and yeah, this is the brush I use most of the time. So as you can see, I'm just using the edge of the brush, and it's just to pick out the edges to get a bit of a highlight going. Then again, red gore. So water this one down a little bit because we don't want it to be too bright, and this is just to get a couple of highlights on the actual colour. Not too much, and we want it to blend in, so just, yeah, get a bit on and then just rub it off. You can use your finger, or you can use a bit of tissue or cloth, anything like that. That's fine. The point is to not have thick paint. You just want it to dab it on, wipe it off, water it down the paint, dab it on, wipe it off, and then that way it blends in quite nicely. And yeah, and it keeps that kind of like really dirty look. So yeah, Brascov. I've no idea why they've got layer paints and all this kind of thing. It's just paint, you know. It's just watered down at a different level. Honestly, you can water it down yourself. Just have one thick paint. It's completely pointless. People paint all this money for. Anyway, I'll stop talking about paint. Yeah, so just picking out the edges of the metallics now. So we've done the silver, we've done a bit of red, now we're going for the bronze effect. Another, well, not as silver as the last one, so here you can see I'm using different brushes for different sizes. And oh, this is for dry brushing actually. So the big brush for dry brushing. Now a lot of people I see do dry brushing wrong. So dry brushing is with a dry brush. You don't just wipe it off a little bit, as I've just done here, and you can see that's coming off quite thickly. That's too much paint. Dry brushing, you really, I can't stress this enough. Wipe it all off, and then you can go on and you can see there's hardly anything coming off. You go over it and over and over it, and it builds up. So as you can see here with it going through fast forward, you can see it building up over time, and it gradually builds up, so you can actually control just how much that comes off onto the surface, whether it's a larger model like this or a smaller model like a Games Workshop Nitro, for example. But yeah, that's how you do dry brushing. Wipe it all off and build it up slowly. You don't just wipe it off a little bit and slap it on, because you end up just getting brush marks and splodges all over the place. So that's dry brushing. Now onto another brush, so I'm going to do another little bit of a wash, but this time I want it to be a little bit more controlled, so I'm using the smaller brush. This one I don't know, that artist, I have no idea. To be honest, I just found this in the kit somewhere. I have no idea where that originally came from. But yeah, so I'm wanting a little bit more control, so rather than splodging it on and having it like, you know, loads of the wash going on, I'm just putting it up and building up a gradual layer. And yeah, as you can see, that's dried quite nicely, so I'm just using a little tool there to pick out where I want to be drilling some holes. So as I said earlier, I wanted it to look like it was a circuit. So where those circuits actually join, I wanted to have a couple of like metal bars going on the outside. So we've got the circuit pattern on the main board, and then we've got some wires and bars going on the outside. So that's just a simple handle drill bit, you can see. So we've got on the top and at the side, so then the wire can bend round and underneath. And yeah, it's straightforward as that to make a couple of holes. And that's just a paper clip that's going in there, that's been bent to shape. and it was actually quite tough to get that in there. I needed, I think I needed a pair of pliers to actually get that bent round. Oh yeah, there we are, a little pair of pincers just to bend that round to get that into position. So yeah, you just shove that in, get it stuck in that little hole, and we'll put a blob of super glue in to hold it into place later, but we just want to pick out a few where we want to. You don't want it on all of them, otherwise there'll be too much detail. You don't want too much detail, you just want a little bit to imply that there's something going on there. You don't want too much because that just overwhelms the audience, just like HD TVs. Okay, yeah, so straighten it out with the long pincers there, because it did get a little bit bent while I was manoeuvring it into position. And yep, there we had a blob of super glue, just get that into place. And yeah, that should hold it, so yeah, just a little fine tuning the position there, and of course wipe up the excess. A little bit of activator, and then realise that the activator made it set a dodgy colour, so I had to put a bit of a wash on. And yeah, that one's a bit of a thicker wire, so the little handheld drill bit didn't have a the little handheld drill didn't have a drill bit that was large enough, so I had to use the power drill to actually get a drill bit that was wide enough to get that wire in there. I'm not sure it's from some kind of big staple thing, I don't know where that came from. You know, just pick up all this rubbish when you're doing DIY, you see a little bit that's going in the bin, take it out of the bin, put it in your bits box. So I want to muck up these bits of wire, so a bit of weathering. I was going to go blue, but then I thought no, I'm going to use green. I thought the green would contrast against the red quite nicely. So again, just dab it on, dab it off, dab it on, dab it off, because we want to just build it up slightly. We don't want to have thick paint, we just wanted to build it up and make it nice and grubby. So just going around a couple of times, dab it on, dab it off, as I say, and once you're happy with the coverage on that one, which I think now looks good, give it another wash. You always want more than one colour, get a good contrast on it. If you just have one colour, you know what, another colour will make it that little bit better. If you have a bit more time, you can go for another colour, but I don't, so I'm calling that one, yeah, that's done. Okay, so that's what made the practical prop, and now here's how I did the visual effects. Done on a computer. So this is the video editing suite. I use a program called VideoPad from NCH Software, which is very affordable video editing software. Okay, so as you can see, I have my video clips over here, which is the raw footage. Lots of different green screen footage of our actor, Katie Stones. And Kate is an amazing actor, and yeah, she played the character of Ark in TIMEFORT. So what we do is we start off with a blank plate. So here is the blank video footage. So if I just move across there, you can see there. So there is actually movement in there. That's I was using a reflective screen. I was trying to different light. If I move it backwards and forwards quickly, you may be able to see it flickering different light. I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not. Anyway, that's a blank slate. So that's the clip that I've got down here. So if we move this down in the main sequence, and you can see that's just a plain video footage of just the device on the bench, the device which you've just seen me making. So for example, here we have the video footage of our other actor Jed T.E. Rhodes placing the device down. So his character Midnight walks in, places the device down, and then we get a close-up of the device on the bench, and as I say, that's the base footage. And so down here we then have another clip of footage. If I just click this one on, so now you can see we have a flashing light which is on top of the plain device on the bench. Sorry, I was looking over the shoulder. You know, it actually takes a lot more braining than you think to move a keyboard and talk at the same time. Move a keyboard, I'm not moving the keyboard, I'm moving the mouse to see. Exactly, see, perfect example. Okay, this is the actual footage that I was using for that flickering light, and it is just a light as you may find on top of a police car or ambulance, that kind of thing. And so that's all it is, moving backwards and forwards, well, spinning round and round, should I say. There we go, woo, woo, woo. Okay, so down here in the actual sequence, you'll see it's all fuzzy, so it's just like a light that's shining up. So what I've done is, if I bring up my effects box, here we have, so first of all make it slightly transparent, and then we add an aqua filter on. So as I click on these over this side here, you'll see it changes the image over here. So that's just semi-transparent. Then we add the aqua filter, you see how that changes the colour slightly? So we then go up and we add a blur, and as you can see it blurs it out like that, so then we get woo woo, but it's still sideways. So we then need to get a rotation. So then the rotation, I've now turned it onto its side, which is 90 degrees, and so 90 degrees, and it's spinning like that. And then yeah, just in position, just to get it in the perfect where exactly I wanted it, which is a bit lower down. And so now we have it blurred and it's the correct orientation. and then down here you see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, each one of these crosses there is in between a clip. So yeah, just looping it basically over and over again. So I now have an infinite number of looping well, flashing lights, I don't know, what do you call it, just a flickering light? Anyway, that's supposed to be the hologram beam emitting. Okay, then up here we have the second layer, and this is the actor, Katie Stones. So if I go back to the original clip, and I'll go for it bit by bit even. So, if I just remove that for 1 second, let's find the original clip that's unadulterated. And there we are, so it's one of these ones here. So as you can see, we have the actor sat in front of a green screen. That's the video footage which is used because we needed to get the right angle. I didn't film that was second unit filming with my cohort Jed actually doing the filming. And yeah, so if we go back to the video footage as used in the clip, here we are. So go back to the effects pane, there we are. So first of all then we need to get rid of the green screen, obviously green screen 1, and then we get a second green screen. Because as you can see on the green screens down here, is you've got dark in the corners and light in the middle, so wherever it's light and then dark you need to have a green screen for each shade. So do one green screen, then do a second green screen, and that'll take it down a bit more. And you change the how much it's feathering and how much there's a fade in between it, just to make it as smooth as possible. Now I then use an old film effect. I can't really see too clearly in that one unless I actually move, and then you can see it's flickering and it's got the little lines and stuff like that. So that's to make it appear well, like it's actually been a video clip that's been emitted. Now there is a black and white feature which I can click on or click off. Obviously I don't want it black and white, so I've taken that one off. We can see on there the video pad footage. All of the different video editing software has very similar things to this one. So you've got lines, spots, flicker, shake and so on. Then the next one up is to crop it down, because obviously we don't want to have all the office space and whatnot in the background. We're just wanting to focus on our actor. So crop, and boom, there we go. So that removes all the surrounding area, so we're just focusing on Katie's face. And then we go up and we get vintage. So vintage is just another filter, it bleaches it, as I say. So you can add a vignette, but I don't want the vignette, I just want the bleaching effect, which if we go to it, you see it just washes out the colour a bit. So again, it's just to make it look like we're actually getting some kind of corrupted video coming through. And then add an aqua filter. You can use any colour filter you want. I'm using aqua, I just like the blue effect on it. You don't have to use that one, as again if I move it you can see it's now flickering, and there you go. You can see the effects all put together. You can use a magenta, you can use just a hot one, a sepia, anything you want. You can even go back to the old film filter if you want. You can use the black and white one, but I used the aqua, which is just a blue filter. Then we have the fisheye. Now fisheye, click, and it just makes it sort of bend. Again, it's to make it look like it's an actual video footage being sent through. Then we add a transparency. Now transparency again makes it transparent. It's self-explanatory. So after we've made it slightly transparent, because there's a hologram, you want to be able to see through it, we can see that's the wrong size, so add a scale, and yep, just zoom it down to the correct size as we want it for the film. Now it's all personal taste, that's the size I wanted it for though. So then rotation, again that was just to get it, if I go back to one, oh actually I don't think I did anything with the rotation. No, that's something where I was no, that's an old one. Ignore the rotation, that's where I was trying something out, but then I decided I didn't need it after all. I did however need the position to lift it up and get that into the correct position. And then see down on this corner here, we can see there's a little bit sticking out from the shoulder, which is going back from the original footage. It's the edge of the circular green screen. So then just add another crop and click, and then that takes that away. So we are then, if I go back to the footage down here, we then have the footage of Katie just sat there as a hologram, and it's that simple really. However, we need the flicker for the activation. That is the exact same footage, the exact same effects, but with an added glitch effect. I say this one is glitch. Every editing software will have some kind of variation on that one, and it's all basically the same thing. This one is called glitch. As I say, that's the video pad from NCH software, and that is the final footage. Glitch in, and then footage with all the effects added, and then glitch out again at the end. It's quite an effective little effect there. So there you go, that's how we do the hologram. Now we don't just have the hologram, we also have let me find another clip. There we are. We can see another one where it's basically the same effect, but we are tracking a moving object rather than just having it sat still. So this is the exact same thing, except if I go onto here, you can see these are positioned. Go on here. There. So now we can see here we have on this timeline, each one of these dots is a position where I've moved it up, moved it across, and that's to manually track. Okay, that's not following because we need to be on the sequence. There we are. So go to the sequence. There we are. So you can see I've been manually tracking the actual movement. This took absolutely ages because for every single one of these shots in the film, I had to manually track and add one of these little movement position markers for every single frame, for every single micro position of the actor that's holding the device, Jed again. Then we need to make it look a little bit more glitchy, so we had a second one, and then on the second layer all I did was go through and on each one of those markers is to just move it slightly, so that then on the actual sequence you'll see they don't line up perfectly. Now what I've done is to actually go through the positions and one by one click move, and it's just ever so slightly. Or what you can do is apply where are we? Oh, it's not on the top. Oh, there we are, shake. And as you can see from that little preview there, it makes the image shake. So instead of going through manually, you can just add a shake, and that will then add the shake effect onto it, so that the top layer no longer lines up perfectly with it, and it saves you having to go through going move. However, by doing it manually, you can get some larger ones, and you can put in the odd position where you want it to be much larger. So there, I don't know if you can see that. See there. See, there's just a slightly larger movement from there, so it just makes it a little bit more random and a little bit more like it's actually glitching. And yeah, it's very time consuming, but it is worth it. So there you go. That is how we made the hologram emitter and the visual effects for the film TIMEFORT.
Look, set me down a minute, would you? Okay, not getting anything through here except trace particles.
Should there be trace particles?
I mean, you're covered in mobily trace particles.
Bless you. So that's how we made the hologram emitter for TIMEFORT. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful, and I think you'll find the actual film TIMEFORT enjoyable as well. So there's a link in the description, so why don't you go and watch that? And you know the drill. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, share it on social media, all that kind of thing. In the meantime, here's the gallery. Okay, Iris, shall I take you for a walk then? Yeah? Walk it? Yeah? Okay, go on then.